This is the mic on? This is the mic on? So it's 7:03, 7:04. We will call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. So roll call, please.
Commissioners Bundy,
Here.
Cassidy,
Present.
Commissioner Daniels is absent, excused. Jackson,
Present.
Stuland,
Present.
Vance.
Present.
Thank you.
Presentations and commendations. Commissioner Daniels is unfortunately not here, but I did want to give her a little shout out. She was honored as a living legend by the NAACP for Black History Month. So just thank her for her commitment to the city and keeping things going. Anyone else with any presentations or commendations? I do not see our City Council liaison, Dr. Letijou, here, so no report from the City Council liaison. Item 6 on the agenda is the community forum. So anyone wishing to address the commission on any matter for which another opportunity to speak is not provided on the agenda and which is within the jurisdiction of the commission to resolve is requested to submit a completed speaker card to the staff secretary. When called upon, each speaker should step to the podium, state his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes pursuant to Vallejo Municipal Code Section 2.20.300. Speaker cards.
Through the chair, I currently do not have any members of the public that have signed up to speak at the community forum. I did start a timer on the top left corner of your screens for those interested parties to sign up either by going to the back of the chambers and signing up at the terminals or by raising your hand on Zoom. In the meantime, feel free to carry on with the agenda, and if anybody signs up, I'll be sure to let you know.
Thank you, Manny. Item 7 is public comment regarding consent calendar items. Members of the public wishing to address the commission on consent calendar items are requested to submit a completed speaker card to the staff secretary. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes pursuant to Vallejo Municipal Code Section 2.02.310. Requests for removal of the consent items received from the public are subject to approval by a majority vote of the commission. Items removed from the consent calendar will be heard immediately after approval of the consent calendar and agenda. Anything?
Through the chair, no members of the public have signed up at this current time.
Okay. Item 8 is consent calendar and approval of the agenda. Subsection A, approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the agenda as proposed.
I second the motion.
Commissioners Bundy,
Aye.
Cassidy,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Stuland,
Aye.
Vance.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
So 8B is approval of minutes. Their motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second.
Commissioners Bundy,
Aye.
Cassidy,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Stuland,
Aye.
Vance.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item 9 is action calendar. Notice, members of the public wishing to address the commission on action calendar items are requested to submit a completed speaker card to the staff secretary. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes pursuant to Vallejo Municipal Code Section 2.02.420. Any speaker cards there, Manny? Thank you.
None at this time, Chair.
So 9A is a recommendation to approve the annual Public Housing Agency Plan for fiscal year 2026 to 27 for the period covering July 1, 2026 to June 30th, 2027, and authorize its submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Through the chair, we do have a member of the public that has raised their hand on Zoom.
Great. Thanks. Want to give them...
Okay. Melvin Cowan, you have the floor. Please unmute yourself. Go ahead. Melvin, we don't hear you. You want to double check your settings? Yeah, not coming through. Do you want to maybe log back out and then come back in, and then we'll hear you at that time?
Let's see. Are you able to hear me now?
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Thank you so much. Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Melvin Cowan, resident here in Vallejo. I want to thank the staff for preparing the annual PHA plan, Public Housing Authority plan, and continuing the important work of administering over 2,300 housing choice vouchers in Vallejo. One of the realities highlighted in the plan is that Vallejo operates as a voucher-based housing authority. And because the housing authority does not own housing units, the success of the program depends heavily on partnerships with private landlords, nonprofit operators, and developers who are able to bring forward project-based voucher developments. The Broadway Village project is a strong example of how project-based vouchers can support individuals experiencing homelessness while providing supportive services and stable housing. And so as Vallejo and Solano County continue addressing homelessness and housing instability, expanding the pipeline of projects that can utilize project-based vouchers will be critical. And that includes adaptive reuse opportunities such as motel conversions and other supportive housing models that can move quickly while leveraging federal resources already available through the voucher program. So I appreciate the Housing Authority's continued work and look forward to seeing Vallejo expand partnerships that bring additional supportive housing online in the coming years. Thank you for your time.
No other speakers at this time, Chair.
Through the chair, if I may, I noticed that we have a participant. I want to make sure we're not overlooking a speaker's card for this evening. Is Mrs. Jones not choosing to speak to the commission? This is the time for you to speak, actually. So I want to call to your attention, Chair, we spoke to Ms. Jones. Ms. Jones, if you would follow the instructions, which is to fill out a speaker's card, and we'll wait for you. In fact, just come to the podium. It's okay. It's okay. This is actually the form we were talking about on Tuesday night. So for those members of the commission, Mrs. Jones was present on Tuesday night for City Council, and she has 2 inquiries to this commission, and we forwarded those requests, Director Jones, to staff this week, I do believe. We forwarded her request to staff this week. We sent it to Shari. And so, Ms. Jones, if you would please, and I'll guide you, because this is the correct form. Let's have you just simply come to the podium and press a button.
You're in good hands. Yeah, there's no embarrassment here.
And I apologize for Tuesday night.
And also, I just want to give Melvin a shout out. I really appreciate your ongoing commentary, and it's really clear that you read and digest all of the material, and I personally appreciate the engagement.
Through the chair.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
There you go. Ms. Jones, is your mic's on?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please proceed.
So you guys have an admin plan, a new one that was just made, I believe, in 2025 and 2026. in section 5 where it says 2 heartbeats per household limit. And I guess on the old admin, it said that head of household would not have to share bedrooms with a minor child. And now you guys took that off and made it where basically 2 people in one household has to share the same room, unless they're the opposite sex or 5 years old or an infant, or unless the mother is pregnant. So I kind of just think that by voting for that, which you guys already done, it has affected a lot of families like mine's and other people's, where they're like choosing to port out of Vallejo. It's also causing them to lose their housing. It's very hard already to find apartments and housing with Section 8 already. So, and it's like the bare minimum for the amount of money that they give us to find, apartments and places to live. So I think that this just kind of affects a lot of people, not just me, but like other people in the community as well. I'm so nervous, I'm sorry.
Ms. Jones?
Yeah.
May I just ask clarifying questions? So
Yeah.
I saw the letter on, it was Tuesday evening.
Exactly.
And what the letter stated was basically you were downgraded from a 2-bedroom apartment
A voucher to a
voucher
one-bedroom.
to a 1-bedroom voucher.
Yeah.
And residing in the household is you and your daughter.
11-year-old, who's a female, same sex. But because of that, that's why they did it. And I've had it for 9 years, so. And it's in chapter 5 on you guys' new admin policy. I found it finally. Yeah.
So for the commissioners, one of the clarifications from Ms. Jones is that she had no notice. I guess the letter states that the decision was made in December of 2025, but she wasn't notified until,
February, well, the letter was dated February 2025, but I didn't see it till like a few days ago. And the only loophole in law that I can do to fight against it is reasonable accommodation, also known as a disability, which is involving my family's personal affairs in this matter. Like I have to involve doctors now and everything like that. So I think that's kind of degrading to me in anyone's situation, to be honest with you. But that's the only loophole in this, right? The only legal loophole to fight it. So there's no other loophole. Like they can tell me no and keep it as is, which that's what I was told. They already switched it to that, so. And on the letter, there was no way to appeal or anything like that. It said none of that, so, but I figured it out.
through the chair, commissioners, the other point that Ms. Jones made, and in fact, unfortunately, she wanted to present on Tuesday night, which was not the forum to do so, through the chair. So our city manager, I think, took her name and information and followed up with her directly. So is there any update to the commission based on your conversations with our city manager?
They emailed and they linked in Alicia Jones and Miss Wilson, and the only one that responded was Alicia Jones, and she just stated real briefly that my worker will be in touch with me. And I told her that I've already spoke to my worker, and it's just the same thing, the same rules that he told me, 2 heartbeat per household. But I guess what I was trying to get at is how can I fix this to keep, the voucher as is, not you tell me the same thing that I already know, right? So.
Director Jones, is it possible for her to request a redetermination based on the household size? And
So,
you're our expert here.
yes, what she's referring to is a change that was happening in administrative plan due to budget shortfall. We are significantly shortfall. We've been mandated by HUD to review all of our processes and policies and implement cost-saving measures. In anticipation of that shortfall, cost-saving measures were taken, and the 2 heartbeats per bedroom rule was applied. It was effective June of 2025, I believe of it. 25 or 24. I have to think about it. But this particular policy applies across the board. The program cannot support the number of bedrooms originally offered to families. We had recent conversations with our HUD representative as recent as yesterday, and they're closely monitoring our actions to ensure we're adhering to our action plan that they've implemented for us. The notice for the bedroom size decrease happens at your annual. So it doesn't happen immediately, it's applied at your annual. And so when a family comes up for their annual and they're in a 3-bedroom unit, but there's only 3 people in the home, that only qualifies for a 2-bedroom voucher. So we're required to downsize the family to a 2-bedroom voucher. We're aware that it's a financial impact to the family. But this is something we have to do in order to effectively administer the program. As far as what can be done to keep the voucher, families that's on the program always have the opportunity to ask for an informal hearing. And their recertification notice at the bottom of the page indicates what their rights are to an informal hearing. So we receive an informal hearing and we use an outside party to conduct the hearing on our behalf.
Through the chair, Director Jones,
Yes.
question for you. Do we have plans to notify maybe other members that this anticipated downsize may happen to them, just versus waiting to their annual review so that we may head off? Or if that makes sense to everyone?
Yeah,
may
do we have an idea of how
thwart
many
this-
vouchers are?
Chairman, I'm so sorry. I need to interrupt for just a second because I think we're off the agenda topic, unfortunately. I don't see how the discussion relates to item 9A, which is the agenda item that we're on. The speaker could have spoken during a community forum. That would have been the appropriate place. I think we're talking about the admin plan and what needs to happen with the speaker, and that needs to be on the agenda for you to have any kind of discussion about it. She's free to talk about it in a community forum, but you can't ask questions or debate about it or discuss it.
Okay, thank
Through
you.
the chair, I do have a question for her, if we can turn it back to her, if that's okay.
I'm sorry, say again?
Through the chair, I do have a question for the speaker.
Okay, go ahead. I've let you know what the law is. We're violating the law right now.
I'm so sorry for violating the law. You can ask me.
It's not you, ma'am. It's not you at all. It's
Okay, no, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm just doing what I was told out of respect for Ms. Jackson. And
It's a process that the board has to stay with to be in compliance with what's something that's called the California Brown Act.
understood.
I just wanted to comment that I'm glad that you're here and that you're speaking. I'm happy to hear what you have to say, and I would love to speak with you after if possible, and we can I have some other questions for you, maybe some.
Absolutely, thank you, and I'll answer any question you have for me. I have a full, thank you, you guys.
So, Shari and Director Jones, is it possible for us to agendize that discussion at a later date to understand the number of potential voucher recipients that policy change does impact?
Yes.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I would like to ask you in the future, if we do see members of our public here, respecting the city attorney, but if we do see them here and they do not know how the agenda works, that somehow we ensure that they understand the appropriate time for them to speak. I think the embarrassment from Tuesday and tonight does serve as notation and a notable comment for me to make. Thank you so much for your time.
Noted. Thank you. So back to item 9A was the recommendation to approve the annual public.
Microphone, Chair, and no other speakers at this time. Thank you.
So it was 9A, recommendation to approve the annual public housing agency plan for fiscal year 2026-27 for the period covering July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2027,
Yep.
and authorize its submission to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Do we have a recommendation?
I make a recommendation to approve the PHA as stated from the dates June 1st, 2026, 2025, sorry, June 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027. Also calling to our attention item number B3 on the report card, item number 5, the improvement of SEMAP performance from 61% to 89%. Congratulations, Director Jones. I'm sorry, and staff.
I'll second.
One question I do have, Director Jones, with the plan being published in the lobby, how does the lobby closure impact public viewing of the plan in the lobby?
We don't, excuse me, through the chair, we don't anticipate the lobby being closed forever. We're actively recruiting right now, and hopefully we'll have our lobby open soon. But the information not only will be available in the lobby, it's also available on our website. It'll be up.
Is it possible to post it on the window of the lobby? Is that, if somebody wanted to see it in person? I just want to give the public sort of opportunity to review it.
Well, we have a little display board outside of our office. So the lobby and the display board is what we typically use to post publications, and also on our website.
Yeah, thank you. The motion was seconded. Do we have a vote?
Commissioners Bundy,
Aye.
Cassidy,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Stuland,
Aye.
Vance.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
So 9B is recommend approval of amendments to the fiscal year 2025-26 adopted budget of the Housing Authority of the City of Vallejo.
Through the chair, no members of the public have signed up for this item, but there is a timer on the top
Thank
left
you,
corner of the screens for interested parties to sign up either by raising their hands or signing up in the chamber's terminals in the back.
Do we have a motion or discussion?
I don't have any, through the chair, I don't have any presentation for the item.
No, I'm actually,
What yeah, so we need a recommendation. A motion. I mean, somebody needs to.
Director Jones, a quick question to you before we make our recommendation on the budget. A few months ago, we had October of last year, we had a change correction to the budget. Can you remind me what that was? I'm at a loss. Do you know what I'm talking about? Please, so I can just make sure the commissioners. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. All of the actions we've had.
I know.
Can I
Can you
get
please?
to it and get back to you?
Please. So, Commissioners, my recommendation is that we approve the budget.
So, Director Jones, the one question I would have with our work plan.
Yeah.
Some of our ask of City Council was to help support some training modules, and this budget amendment looks like it's partially to cover new staff trainings.
Okay, I'll explain what's happening. This is the HCV.
But is it possible for us to tie those things together in some way where?
I'll answer the first part.
Okay.
This particular budget amendment is because we use, for the Housing Choice Voucher Program, we use a consultant to assist us because we're understaffed. So the consultant helps us with our annual recertifications, and as a response to that, we have to pay them on a monthly basis. So this is an adjustment into utilize our fund balance or our salary savings to continue those services, and also to provide training for housing staff that we've hired recently, and also that training can be very expensive using a service like Nan McKay and Associates. So it's unrelated to your budget request. This is particularly trying to backfill our deficit and fill it via mid-year so that we can continue the services that we're receiving from our consultants. In this particular amendment, it's through our services and supplies.
Yeah, and I read the item, and there was no, it's not a fiscal expenditure, it's moving money.
It's just moving money, yes.
Thank you.
So to your second question, I learned about your request through your work plan, and we're looking into that. So I don't have an answer at this time for you, but we're working on what that looks like and presenting that to the board and council for them to approve.
Thank you. So we have our motion.
Through the chair, the motion to accept the budget as stated. That's my motion.
So it would be a recommendation to recommend that the Housing Authority of the City of Vallejo Board of Directors approve amendments to the fiscal year 2025-26 adopted budget.
Yes, thank you.
Do I have a second?
I second. Thank you.
Commissioners Bundy,
Aye.
Cassidy,
Aye.
Jackson,
Aye.
Stuland,
Aye.
Vance.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Item 10 is written communications. Any written communications?
Through the chair, we don't have any written communications.
11 is report of the committee and board secretary. So A is report of the secretary.
Through the chair, I don't have any report.
B, any report from the city attorney?
Chair and commission members, no report this evening.
Thank you. Report of the presiding officers and members of the Housing and Community Development Commission. Do you have? So, at our last meeting, we had received a presentation from a community member. That got me thinking a little bit about this commission and really trying to start to deepen into the knowledge base of this commission, but also really encourage folks to think about evidence-based practices. I put together a couple of slides for what I think is education for the commission and public, but looking at the existing resources within the city of Vallejo and the county of Solano in addressing homelessness and the unhoused crisis that we have. Do you have those, Manny?
Be sure to turn on the controller. There's a little switch on the side.
Wow, this is high tech. So really, a lot of these resources are things that are here that I suspect some of the commissioners and some of the public may not actually be aware of. When we think of surveys and data, the city and county already has an evidence-based survey of the unhoused residents. That's the point in time count that's asked for by HUD every 2 years, right? So this slide, and I want this to go to you guys so that you can click these links later, right? But this slide is a link to the point in time count. And this is where, as a commission, we're going to get our data when we're looking at any impact that has happened on the unhoused crisis over time. And then this was really, so CHCF, the California Healthcare Foundation, is an organization that deals with Medicaid policy. Most unhoused residents in the city of Vallejo are going to be eligible for Medicaid health insurance. When we interact with the public, a lot of times you'll hear things like, if the city were to build a homeless shelter or have safe parking or a navigation center, people from other areas will flock to the city to access that service. It's something that I hear over and over and over again, and largely what this shows is that when people become unhoused in a city, they're becoming unhoused where they were previously housed. People aren't flocking to service areas. Also, something that I heard in a presentation this week was a proposal for a new homeless triage system. So I thought it was really important for folks to know that we already have a triage system. It's called coordinated entry. So communities that receive funding from HUD need to have a coordinated entry system where people who are unhoused can, it's their portal of entry for housing related services. And in Solano County, that can be accessed through calling 211. So anybody who's unhoused who needs support should call 211 first. And then Resource Connect Solano holds that current contract. One of the other things I did this week is I reached out to Andre Richardson, who is the director of Resource Connect Solano, to see if he could come in and give us a little presentation on CES and the continuum of care. And he's willing to do that at some point, so we can link. Back to the Medicaid piece, another thing you'll hear is that the rates of addiction in encampments are huge, right? Partnership Health Plan is our county Medi-Cal managed care plan. They're a phenomenal Medi-Cal managed care plan. They basically cover from Solano County north to the Oregon border. But this is a list of services under Medi-Cal. So outpatient treatment, the intensive outpatient treatment, detoxification, residential treatment, medication-assisted treatment, case management, and recovery services. There was some misinformation in the presentation that we received last month stating that sober living was a potentially Medicaid covered service. It's not a Medicaid covered service. Did I lose it? So down here too is a number. Anybody in Solano County who's covered by Medicaid can call that 855 number to access substance use services 24 hours a day. So street medicine is a modality where medical providers go out to encampments to provide medical services directly to people where they're currently staying. This is a good brief on street medicine. Encampments get a lot of publicity for good reason. So UCSF, the University of California, San Francisco, has developed an encampment resolution plan. There's an encampment prioritization toolkit, and then their plan. I would encourage everyone to just look at that. And smart practices for safe parking. So in our county, about 50% of unhoused residents stay in vehicles. So they're either in cars or RVs. Personally, I love discussion around safe parking because I think it's a pretty low threshold intervention. And then the other thing that I wanted to sort of guide us towards is as interventions come up, we need to develop real strategy, benchmarking, right? Strategies need to be evidence-based, but then we need to work towards recording measures of success. This is an overview from the National Healthcare for the Homeless around temporary supported communities, so strategies for serving unsheltered people. This goes over a number of different strategies, has benefits and drawbacks. Rapid rehousing is something that you hear talked about pretty regularly. So this is performance benchmarks and program standards, right? And I put these things in here so we can start to think about what measures could be over time. And then brief on supportive housing, and then criteria for and benchmarks for achieving the goal of ending family homelessness. So this was from the United States Interagency Council on Homelessness. And Shari, you'll share these with the commissioners?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. That was it. And I do want to say I have no financial ties with any of the organizations highlighted. I get money from no one. So D, anyone else? D is report of the ad hoc committees. A work plan and budget report.
So I want to Through the chair, report on the ad hoc committee for development of the work plan. I just want to congratulate everyone for their work effort to get that done. Our new commissioners are doing very well, and I just want to congratulate them for focusing on what matters. So my report is that we presented to City Council. Chair did an amazing presentation, developed content for that, and our ask is not the highest ask, but certainly I think it's pointed in the right directions. So my comment is that I think the request matches the need for this commission.
Through the chair. I just wanted to say that I thoroughly enjoyed working on the work plan, and I'm really excited to get started and on it. And I'm excited to see what we have for our budget. So, thank you.
And the first real item coming up is presentation in June, slated to be in June, correct? So we would. No, no. So it's item 1 on the work plan, presentation to the City Council and Housing Authority Board. Okay, August, sorry. I thought somewhere I had read June. Cool. Any other comments there? Thank you all for your work on that. Item 12, it's other. So it's quarterly housing project updates. I don't see our assistant city manager. Are they online?
Yes.
Oh, great. Hi, Gillian.
Good evening, Chair Bundy, Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me to present some updates to you this evening on some housing projects via Zoom. I appreciate that. I had staff print out some of these reports so that you could have those at the dais this evening, and a few extra for the public if anyone there is in the public is interested. And I'm just going to give you a very high-level overview. You can read them in more detail, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any additional questions beyond this evening. The first one I'm going to start with is Broadway Village, and I'm very, very excited to inform the commission that today we had a very small, modest ribbon cutting, and it was a great celebration which had all of our funders, HCD, HUD, Wells Fargo, the County of Solano, the City of Vallejo, and we just did the little ribbon cutting in front of the building and said thank you to everyone for helping make this project happen. So as a reminder, this project's located at 2441 Broadway. It is 47 permanent supportive housing units for the unhoused here in Vallejo. The nonprofit developer partners from Foundation, and the operator is Shelter Inc. The project inception began way back in 2021. Construction was about 3.5 years. It began in 2022, and we were able to get our 90% occupancy on December 24th, 2025. So it was very good timing. On Christmas Eve, we got 90%. And by New Year's Eve, we were 100%. So at this point today, we also got our email from HCD saying that the project grant is in full compliance. So that's great news to get as well. And the ribbon cutting was a wonderful event. There are currently 52 people housed in the 47 units. So that's really, really great news on that project. And we will continue, obviously, as you recall, vouchers, project-based vouchers are funding the programming, and Shelter Inc. is doing the operating and providing the services. It's a beautiful facility. If anybody from the commission would like a tour, I can definitely arrange for that if you haven't been there. It's just a gorgeous facility. So a great way to provide dignified, safe housing for our community members. So I just feel very, very proud. There have been some hurdles along the way, but we were able to pull past the finish line together very collaboratively and get this project up and running and functioning. So next I'm going to jump quickly, briefly into the Navigation Center. I did give you the 2025 state report. So there's some reporting now that the city has to do with inspections and reporting on any sort of code calls on all of our housing projects. And so that includes the ones that we've been involved with. Number one, the Blue Oak Landing at 2166 Sacramento Street, and then the Broadway project as well for the Navigation Center. So city has some ownership in the Navigation Center, so that's why. So you'll see that report that there was just one call over the last year. We inspected and there were no pending corrections or investigations. As far as the Navigation Center is concerned, there are currently 105 people housed there as of today. That number fluctuates. There's usually between 5 and 7 vacancies as people turn over. And so it's pretty common that it'll be leased up and then there'll be a couple beds open and then a leased up again and a couple beds open. So as the commission may be aware, they're also functioning as our warming center. So it is constantly open for people to come during the evenings or early mornings to stay warm and to have a nice bed and a hot meal provided. So we always like to get that information out there for anybody that may need to use that facility. No major issues on either the Broadway or the Navigation Center. We haven't had any issues with going with any calls to police department. We've been monitoring. We haven't had any major issues take place at either of the sites. I think the coverage is very good. Broadway's got the on-site manager. The Nav Center has the operators 24/7 as well, 5 keys. And so we're just really, really pleased that things have been so successful thus far. And then the third and final project I have an update for you on this evening is the Sonoma Estates project. And you will see I sent over a quarterly report. The great news on Sonoma Estates is that just earlier at the end of February, their applications for the SB 330 applications for development were deemed complete by the city. So they had a couple rounds of comments and they were missing some items. They resubmitted those and now they are deemed complete. So it will move through that approval process. As you recall, they were awarded vouchers and those vouchers were not actually put into contract for the project because they did not have all their funding together. And then in that time, as they waited to try and pull the funding together, HUD actually pulled back all the vouchers that weren't in contract because of funding reasons at the federal level. So right now, there are no current project-based vouchers available for any projects. But what the project you'll see in the report is planning on doing is they're thinking of applying for tax credits. Once they secure some other funding opportunities, then they can apply for some tax credits. So where they are in the process is application is complete and submitted and is in processing right now. So those are the updates I have for you, and I am happy to answer any questions you may have now. And also, as I said, you can always feel free if you'd like to contact me one-on-one. Thank you.
Through the chair, Assistant City Manager Jillian Hayes, how are you this evening?
I am so good. I'm so happy after being there this morning and being part of that ribbon cutting. So I'm in a great mood. Thank you for asking.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. Question for you. I asked that question because my next question is a little bit a little bit curt. But
Sure.
can you slow down just a little bit and go back through the HUD denial of the project-based vouchers? So there's no one in the program now that's using the project-based vouchers tax credit. Make that connection for me or timing for me.
Yes.
Thank you.
So yes, let me review that with you. So the program was awarded project-based vouchers through HUD. As you recall, it came to the commission and went to the Housing Authority Council after. While that approval was an approval, it was not an execution of the contract. So the HUD requirements and regulations ensure that the project has funding in place before it awards vouchers. and executes the contract. So while we said, yes, this project's ready to go, we think it's a good option, and we moved it forward, it then halted because the funding wasn't lined up in a timely fashion. So HUD doesn't like to just commit vouchers to projects just because they could potentially be sitting in an executed contract for a year or 2 years, depending on how long it takes to secure funding. So with that, HUD denied the execution of that project-based voucher contract. So the project is looking at other funding opportunities that are currently out, including doing a tax credit application. So they are reporting to us quarterly, which we will be sending to the commission these reports so that you can follow and keep up with it. But at this time, they do not have all the funding secured for the project, but they are still moving forward with the entitlements.
Continuation, Chair. Ms. Hayes, as a former Chief Information Officer for the State of California Compliance, are we in compliant now, or is this weight an impact to us negatively? What does that mean without going into an apoplectic kind of overflow? Does that mean we're compliant? Are we not compliant? Can we be in a holding pattern? If so, for how long?
We are compliant. The voucher contract was never executed, so there is no non-compliance issue. So if the vouchers become available again through HUD, we will have to do another RFP process, and this project or any other projects are able to apply for that competitive RFP voucher process. So they'd have to go through it all over again.
Thank you. Awesome.
Through the chair, I would like to add to Gillian's information regarding the project base. In addition to what she's saying, we also notified CHCD that the vouchers had been rescinded, not only because they couldn't comply with the funding requirements, the funding for their project, but also we're currently in shortfall. And because we're in shortfall, we have an action plan, as I spoke of earlier, and we're restricted from engaging in any future project-based projects until HUD gives us authorization to do so.
Through the chair, clarifying question, if I may, does that mean for all projects or just this project?
All projects. We cannot engage in any future project-based voucher initiatives until we're released from HUD's shortfall.
So, Jillian and Director Jones, if we were looking at a project, if the world was perfect and we had something immediately, how long would it take us to be ready? And how long is that request? How long does that take if we're prohibited and something became available? Is there a year wait, or is there immediacy? How does that work?
So currently, we are, as I stated, we're in shortfall, and we're anticipate to be in shortfall throughout 2026. Some agencies can remain in shortfall for 2-3 years. And as long as you're in shortfall, there's those requirements through your action plan that HUD provides you. And one of those, you don't have vouchers to issue because you don't have money to issue, to tie to them. So you can't procure any type of services or RFP for project base because you're not authorized, you don't have the funding for it. So that can be, it just depends on when we're out of shortfall.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, through the chair.
Through the chair, Director Jones, does that impact any of the existing vouchers that we have, or just future vouchers if we're in that shortfall period?
It can impact our existing voucher holders. The budget was approved by, Congress approved the budget a month ago, and we're waiting to receive our notification from HUD. We did get information that we will be funded at 99. We, as in housing authorities nationwide, will be funded at 99%, but that will be prorated as well. And notification should be coming out to housing authorities next month by April. And we'll know exactly what our funding levels are. So how it impacts current participants, we have to manage how much funding we have versus how many participants we can support. And that's where we meet with our shortfall team on a monthly basis to determine where we are. We do this exercise to prevent any possible termination of assistance for insufficient funding. So HUD will give us the funding, but we have to demonstrate cost-saving measures.
So through the chair, if I can just add to that, we do not expect any of our current voucher holders to be affected. We are working with the shortfall team. There may be a small percentage that we will have to look at cutting some other areas of programming, but the voucher, funding is kind of the last thing that we'll look at. We're looking at payment standards. We're looking at all the different things that HUD requires us to look at in order to kind of tighten the belt, so to say. And I'm really hopeful, as in years past, that shortfall gap sometimes gets funded with the housing authorities that don't spend all the funds that they're awarded. So we're hoping that that's the case. We're just in a housing conference in Napa, where HUD was also presenting, and we're thinking we just don't have that exact approval and authorization just yet. But we should know in the next couple months, and as we find out from HUD, we can update the commission.
Assistant City Manager Hain, where do they stand on the NSP loan? If I'm correct, the terms of the most recent extension ended in January of 25.
Correct. They are currently in default for the NSP loan. I have been working with the city council and the city attorney's office on that issue, and I don't have a public update at this time, but we are aware and we are working on that issue.
Thank you. Then with the Navigation Center, how many people have been exited positively to housing? And if any, how many negative exits?
I can get that information and email it out to the commission. I don't have it at my fingertips this evening, but we've had quite a few success stories. And there are a few, even in Broadway, that I know of thus far since December. There have been two that had said thank you, but no thank you. So it does happen with this population. Sometimes it's a big transition, and sometimes they give it a try and decide that this is just not what they're looking for or what they want. And so the same thing has happened at the Navigation Center. I don't have those exact numbers at the moment, but I'm happy to get those from Five Keys and send them out to the commission.
Yeah, and can you also tell us what data are being tracked as measures of success there?
Yeah, so we have the state inspection requirements, and then we have the occupancy that we're tracking monthly. We're tracking calls to the police department and fire department, and the success rate of moving people into housing and jobs, and then also tracking the driver's license, social security card, all of the documents, getting people document ready, that's also being tracked.
Thank you. And then with Broadway project, has that now transitioned to ownership by the city?
No, it hasn't at this time. There is an option, but at this moment, Firm Foundation does still own the project. We wanted to get through full lease up and implementation and make sure that everything was moving smoothly before council then makes that decision if they would like to own it, or if another nonprofit, or for example, a Shelter Inc. Nonprofit owner and developer. There are several options that the council will be weighing in the months to come.
And the project's currently fiscally solvent?
Yes.
Thank you.
I definitely, Chairman, I would definitely say that in the months and years to come, we will be looking for other grant funding because it is a very tight budget. It's basically the reserves are under, $10,000 a year. So we will be looking for augmentation funding, but the numbers do pencil. I would like to get that reserve amount higher, but all of the services, all of the programming, everything is fully funded. And as I said, we will continue to look for those supplemental grant opportunities to make the project even more fruitful.
Yeah, thanks. I think something you've heard us say before is really that operations piece, right? Permanent supportive housing, the permanent support piece is really, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's time intensive, and that means it's expensive, right? So with the project, Broadway project and the Navigation Center, we need to be thinking a couple of years down the road on how we're going to have those supportive services happen.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you, City Manager Hain. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you, commissioners.
So item 12B is the commission questionnaire regarding MRG report.
Through the chair. We missed giving you the questionnaire in the packet, but it's there with you. It's the page where it has 5 questions. So what they are, if you recall a few months ago, we presented to you a report from a consultant that the city contracted with to do a review of the boards, commissions, and committees within the city. So these are questions that we will compile from you to present to the council. What I'll do is I could read the questions, and then if you want to respond to it, we'll take notes, and I will give it back to the city manager's office.
We're going to do that now, or do you want responses via email?
I'm sorry, through the chair, can you repeat that?
Do you want us to respond now, or can we send email follow-up?
Yeah, through the chair, we can do that too. And then in April, if you'd like, I could summarize all your responses and then have another agenda item about the report and the questionnaire.
To the chair, I have a question. So, Shari, hasn't the assessment already been completed?
Through the
So
chair,
then-
yes.
So then, why are we filling this out?
So through the chair, these are questions that we've received from the assistant to the city manager. I believe that after the report, and it ties back also, I see a question about goals and the work plan.
It's okay. I think I understand. I guess my question is different. We had a qualified consultant do an assessment of the commissions and the boards for the city of Vallejo who missed the housing and city development commission in totality. Is that what you're saying?
Through the chair, what happened was the MRG, the consultants.
I'm aware.
I'm sorry.
I'm aware of them. Go ahead.
No, they asked city staff. They had questions to the city staff. So this would be an opportunity for the commissioners to, for us to get feedback from the commissioners.
Okay, so my question is different. In here, I see, through the chair, I see a packet that says Boards and Commissions and Committees Assessment Report. Is that not an assessment of the commission? And you're saying it's an assessment of commission staff. So is this misrepresented, or?
May I see if I can help?
Sure, if you could introduce yourself,
Thank
that'd be
you.
nice. Go ahead.
So the City Council commissioned a report from MRG to take a look at all of the city's boards and commissions to determine if there were any that could be consolidated, if there were any that could be eliminated, if there were any that needed to be added. This report, the MRG report, is the culmination of that assignment to them. Once the City Council received that assignment, they directed the city manager to go to all of the city's boards and commissions and essentially ask these 5 questions and say, what do you think? So the council's looking for feedback from all of the boards and commissions before they make any decisions on any of the things that they might be able to do with changing the structure of the city's boards and commissions. That's the point of the questionnaire, to get your feedback on how that report might affect you, or what you think you would like to see happen, or what you think you'd like to see the city council do. And the only reason I know that is because I help several boards and commissions, and we've done this for all of them so far. And when they first started, Jason Ackley was one of the assistants to the city manager was coming to the commissions and explaining it to them. Unfortunately, he's not here tonight to do that.
Thank you for the explanation. So, Chair, my recommendation is that time is 8 o'clock. Should we, although the system does dictation, I don't know if we want to individually go through this or if we can just email our responses. I think my preference would be to email responses and have another
As would
agenda
be.
item.
So, Cherry, can we do it via email and then add the agenda item to the April meeting, please?
Of course, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Any final concerns?
Through the chair, I know we had our community forum earlier in the meeting. We did have a member of the public arrive a little late, and she's wondering if she, through the chair, at the discretion of the chair, you would be willing to hear her at this time.
Is that okay? Yeah, please step up to the podium. Yeah. You arrived just on time. You arrived just on time.
Thank you very much. I'm sure many of you know me. Lily Hurd, the oldest Section 8 landlord in Vallejo, 55 years. And I just got gist of this meeting, and I need clarification. Do you have anything to do with Alicia Jones, blah, 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 Section 8? I have many complaints against her. Yes or no? That's all. I have many complaints against her.
Alicia Jones is the director of the Housing
Yes, she is. Do you have anything to do with her? If I had complaints, you have nothing to do with it, right?
Good evening, Ms. Hurd. I think we met before through the chair. I'm Vice Chair Jackson. You have many complaints against Director.
And the council knows about it, city manager knows about it, and he promised me December 16 in the meeting that he would at least have her respond. That didn't happen. Go ahead.
Can I ask you if we may take the date that you're here and pass it back to the city manager? Because this commission, we support our housing. Of course we do.
Of course, I do too.
Right, of course. And as a vet, I definitely support housing here in the city of Vallejo. I ask if we could take your request back to our staff and ask for a response to your, I don't know if it's a question or if you just have.
It's 4 complaints, one from my tenant, who they doubled his rent, and I am his advocate. They won't answer him, and they won't answer me, and I requested this December 16th. Who was sitting in that chair was the city manager. I said that she's had it 3 or 4 months, and he assured me that he would have her respond. That has not happened.
I think it's only because our city at the moment is probably in the middle of many, although that's very important. I want to say, let's give him another opportunity. What's your number 2? That's your number 1. What's your number 2?
What is what?
You said you had 4. What's
I have
number
4
2?
complaints.
4.
One is a tenant,
Yep.
that they doubled his rent. My 3 complaints are Lily Hurd complaints. We have heard nothing in writing from
Okay.
any of those complaints. What they did do, you need to know this, they had the nerve to call the tenant. If any of you have problems, call me and I am the advocate. After 55 years, if I haven't picked up at 91 years old, you need to kick my behind. I know what it is. Alicia Jones is being told what to do. And I told her that. Step aside. Are they going to fire her just like they did Judy Shepherd Hall? Remember, she got fired. She just went to an attorney. Guess how much money she got? Guess how much? To shut up. $130,000. The whistleblowers, all white, got $1 million apiece. Talk to me and I'll tell you the rest. Okay, did everything I could do. There's nothing you can do. The city manager assured me that I would have received a response. I have not.
Thank you, Ms. Hurd. I appreciate you coming.
There's nothing you guys can do about it. That's all I need to know.
Thank you. And with that, our meeting is adjourned.